they wanted to dismiss us as being a street gang. Well, we certainly were not a street gang. The threat was that we were a group of young people who were committed to organize into a political power base the poor and oppressed people throughout this country.
When you live in a class society, the upper classes, they're in constant fear of what they call the lower classes.
The Panthers wanted to explode the myth of the docile black who would turn the other cheek, and said, no, we won't turn the other cheek. As a matter of fact, if you try to shoot me, I'm going to shoot back, and if you got your gun, I got mine, and so therefore, if you wanted to aggress upon me, then whereas I'm not a natural and an aggressor, that I would defend myself to the hilt, and that's what we were attempting to do.
People learn by example. I don't think anybody has an argument with that. I think that when Huey P. Newton said that people learn basically by observation and participation, I think that everybody caught on to that. So what we're saying very simply is that if they learn by observation and participation, then we need to do more acting than we need to do writing. And I think the Black Panther Party is doing that. That we didn't talk about a Breakfast for Children program, we've got one. We're not going to tell you how many kids we intend to feed in Chicago. We're feeding 3,000 to 4,000 every week already, and I don't know how many all around the country. We're not talking about beginning to think about treating people free when they need medical services. We're opening a free health clinic in the city of Chicago in less than 3 weeks. These are the type of examples that people can relate to.
There had been a systematic effort by the FBI in Chicago and nationally to destroy the Panthers. Previously, the FBI in Chicago had sent a letter to the head of the El Rukns, Jeff Fort, telling him the Panthers were trying to assassinate him. Didn't he want to take some action to prevent that? They had deliberately attempted to provoke things between the Panthers and other groups and attempted to discredit the Panthers publicly.
They didn't have to kill every leader. All they had to do was kill one of the most important and up-and-coming and messianic leaders who was doing what Fred Hampton was doing, to send the message to all those young folks, whether they be black or white or Latin or whatever, who wanted to get involved in the struggle, that this is the game that you're getting involved in. We'll kill you in your bed.
I think because the Panthers captured the imagination and the energy of young black people in the cities, I think that they represented a real possibility or potential for community control. I think that the government had, we saw the riots that occurred after Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, and I think this government saw that within its own population there was a potential for a real rebellion. And I think the fact that the Panthers, the idea that the Panthers might lead such a rebellion, and was a real threat, particularly when the United States was trying to wage a war in Vietnam and trying to use black soldiers, by and large, to wage the war. I think during different periods the government uses different tactics, and sometimes their methods will be to publicly discredit groups, to jail people. We saw that sometimes with regard to the Wobblies. They actually did kill people. We saw with regard to the Communist Party, they frequently would jail people or attempt to ruin their reputations. I think with regard to the black movement in particular, the escalation of the government's attacks was very clear. And I think assassination, setting people up for internecine rivalries which could lead to deaths, I think the government has shown a willingness to use any form of violence that it felt was necessary.
Well, actually the Black Panther Party in total was a very American phenomenon. It was very similar analytically to the Minutemen, historically, a group of local citizens who rose up to defend their community against aggression, which is what the Black Panther Party conceived itself as, defending the community that blacks lived in from aggression from police forces who were hostile.
We said move to a higher level. We're moving to a level whereby the people are going to take over control of their destiny. They're going to take over control of their community. And the first way of doing this is dealing with the most integral part of the fascist three-way oppression. We said demagogic lying politicians and avaricious greedy businessmen, and we say fascist pig cops. But the one that's most evident, the one that's closest, the one that's more clear, the one that's more defined in the black community is those fascist pig cops. So what we are saying is, if the people can deal with these fools, we would have taken a revolutionary step. A revolutionary leap, I should say. So that's the program that we think is going to move things to a high level. It's going to raise some contradictions. It's going to cause some antagonistic contradictions. We're prepared to deal with them, and we think the people are prepared to deal with them.
We constantly and at all times criticized and condemned racism. We always worked with other organizations. We never used color as the basis of our criticism. We talked about power to the people. And that was very fundamental. That is what essentially democracy is supposed to be about. But the media wanted to portray the Black Panther Party as something that white people would be afraid of. Therefore, it portrayed it as a all-black organization that hated white people and wanted to use violence against white people. But once you have that idea of an organization, then anything they say is bad. And anything that can be done to them is okay.
Where our chairman had his brains blown out. He lay in his bed, sleeping at 4:30 in the morning. Someone came into the room, started shaking the chairman. Said, Chairman, wake up, the pigs are massacred. Still half asleep. I looked up, and I saw bullets coming from, it looked like, the front of the apartment, from the kitchen area. They were pigs just shooting. And about this time, jumped on top of the chair. He looked up. Looked like all the pigs merged and entered his way to the bedroom area, back bedroom area. The mattress is just going. You can feel the bullets going. I just they had everybody in there. When he looked up, he didn't say a word, he didn't move, except for his head up. He laid his head back down, side like that. He never said a word, he never got up out the bed. The person who was in the room, he kept calling out, stop shooting. We have a pregnant woman, a pregnant sister in here. At the time, I was 8.5 to 9 months pregnant. My baby was living for 2 weeks. Pigs kept on shooting. So he kept on hollering out. Finally, they stopped. They pushed me and the other brother by the kitchen door and told us to face the wall. I heard the pig say, he's barely alive, he'll barely make it. I assumed they were talking about Chairman Fred. Then they started shooting the pigs. They started shooting again. I heard the sister scream. They stopped shooting. Pig said, he's good and dead now. The pigs running around laughing. They were really happy, you know, talking about Chairman Fred is dead. I never saw Chairman Fred again.